there's often critics that say there should be open scoring. What are your thoughts on that? Because, you know, it's complicated, man.
I mean, there's always an argument for it. There's been places where they've been doing it. I don't know what their results are for it. I think there's things that could be problems with it. One, if the scoring is open, in some places where there's a heavy crowd effect, that they could track that crowd, and sometimes the crowd could track it. Sometimes that might be a problem.
So you're just getting like an overwhelming like crowd surge, like kind of rooting for one guy?
Yeah, well, sometimes crowds can get really violent over sports.
Oh, we've even seen that. Like, I mean, recently, you know, some crazy stuff in Mexico.
So I'm not saying that is that's something that's going to happen, but I think it's something you might consider. If guys have scored, if they are aware of the score, is there a possibility that gamesmanship might come into that?
Interesting.
And if it does, would that lead to more exciting fights? My first thought is that if there is some gamesmanship based on where I am in the score at this particular time, I don't think it would lead to a more exciting fight.
But it could make a guy go, man, I got to go for that knockout.
Okay, so you're right about that.
Yeah.
It could do that.
I've even heard people say, hey, the judges should be experienced, you know, former fighters, because there's so much like insider stuff, like, you know, that you can't even, a normal guy a guy who hasn't fought, you know, can't like talk about like octagon control or like the jiu-jitsu stuff that's like between the lines.
Well, that's a very good point. And first of all, I want to say herbdean.com. That's where I do my referee and judge scoring course. We've had Joe Stevenson go through it. We've had Paul Buonatello just went through our course. We had
so that's happening.
Chris Lieben is as a guy who has my certificate. He's working. He's been working pro shows. He's also even started working in Nevada. So he works California, Nevada, and some other states. John Romero went through my course. Former fighter, was also the leader of the Marine Corps MMA team. He just refereed his first UFC a couple of UFCs ago.
So there's a change in the seas.
Yeah.
So you think that movement of like the fighters becoming the refs could lead to, you know,
just because someone's a fighter doesn't mean they're going to be a better referee. But the bottom line is, if somebody is a fighter and want to continue, I think that's a good thing. And the bottom line that if somebody wants to be a judge or a referee, they should have a knowledge of the techniques that the athletes are doing.